Welcome to the Zeus 3P's podcast. I'm your host, Scott Elkins, CEO of Zeus Fire and Security. At Zeus, honoring our veterans isn't something we do once a year. It's a commitment we carry with us each and every day. 10% of our workforce are made up of veterans, and this month, we're recognizing those veterans across Zeus whose courage, leadership, and discipline continue to strengthen our company and the communities we protect. In this special episode, we're proud to highlight one of those, Thomas Blue, or known to us around here as Blue, a U.S. Coast Guard veteran and our manager of operational excellence. Blue has more than 25 years of leadership experience, and his story of service and purpose reflects the absolute best of what veterans bring to life after the military. Blue, it's an honor to have you here today to share your story and to help us recognize the veterans who make Zeus stronger each and every day.
Scott, thank you so much for having me here today. I really appreciate it. It's truly an honor. Before we get started, it's my honor to present to you the new Zeus Challenge Coin.
Oh, wow.
Thank
Terrific.
you so much.
Thank you.
As you can see on the front of the coin, it's our hedgehog, right? And it's a nod to our concept of focus and commitment of protecting people, property, and profits, as we do every single day. On the back, we have all of our branches listed on the back, and it just shows support here at Zeus and also all of our veteran community. So thank you.
Thank you, Blue. I'm honored to receive the first of these new challenge coins, and I will cherish it as I have the others as well. Thank you very much. It means a great deal to me.
Thank you. One last thing I would like to present to you. This is a remembrance bracelet. This is from the Till Valhalla Project. As you may know, veteran suicide in the U.S. is a serious crisis, right? So what this organization does is it remembers those lives and it provides donations and services for veterans all across the U.S. I wear one myself, and I give them out as often as I can. So I would like you to have the coin and the bracelet to remember all of our veterans.
Thank you very much. Appropriate for me to put it on now?
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Blue.
Thanks.
So, Blue, let's get it started. So, Blue, you're a first-generation college student, and you also enlisted in the U.S. Coast Guard.
Correct.
What did that experience, or maybe both of those experiences, teach you about life and about leadership?
Oh, wow. Great question. So when I graduated college, I knew I needed to be a part of something bigger than myself. I needed to help pave that next path for me.
So, Blue, I want to go back to even before. First-generation college student, that had to be a big deal, a big step.
It was. It absolutely was, because I was never going to go to college. I was never going to join the military. So I did exactly both the things I said I was never going to do.
Yeah.
So
I love it. Okay, so you're in college. You're about to graduate.
Correct. And on the way home from getting my diploma from college, I didn't walk. I just got it from the registrar's office. I said, what am I going to do with my life? So I decided to enlist in the Coast Guard. Right then and there, the 45-minute drive home, I said, I'm going to enlist in the Coast Guard.
Now, did you have family members that served in the military?
I did. I had a few. My grandfather, my father, I had an uncle, and a few distant relatives that had served.
And was that kind of part of your thinking, maybe in the background, or was this really an epiphany that came to you on that drive?
A little of both, to be perfectly honest. Like I said, I was never going to join the military, but I knew I needed to do something. But I wanted to serve and give back. The only way that I knew how was to raise my right hand and swear to defend and protect the Constitution of the United States.
Yeah, so lots of people, I think, have that thought process of wanting to serve, but never quite make that next leap. For you, it was deeper. Like, you knew you wanted to serve, and then you went and did something about it. What's that like, that moment where you say, you know what? This is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to serve.
Scared. Very, very scary. Also, we're right off the heels of 9/11 at that time as well, right? So that's still there as well. But moving into it, I enlisted in the military, especially the Coast Guard, because I had a family member that was in the Coast Guard, and I knew that the Coast Guard would teach me discipline, but also humility. And that's exactly what it did. It taught me to follow first and lead by actions.
I love it. I love it. So you're in the Coast Guard for how many years?
Almost 13.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. 13 years. 13. So you come out of the Coast Guard and you have certainly the sense of service, the sense of discipline, sense of humility, which I've known you now for a while, you carry with you each and every day, makes a huge difference. How did that translate into leadership when you get back into the private sector?
So after about 8 years of being enlisted and really being able to travel the world and understand my job, or rate as we call it, or MOS in some branches, right? I knew that I wanted to more out of my service, but I also knew I had to give more to my service, right? But I wanted to go to officer candidate school. So I started researching officer candidate school, and I knew right then and there I had 5 years left of eligibility before I was too old. So I applied the first year, rejected. Second year, rejected. Third and fourth year, rejected. You only apply once a year. It's a very rigorous application process. Educational background, service work, evaluations, everything.
So you dejected each and every time you get a rejection?
Every year.
Every year. But yet you kept going back.
Fifth and final year, I saw my name on the selection board.
Wow. That must have been amazing.
It was amazing. It was 5 years, and it had finally come true. So the lesson that it taught me, that the rejections weren't failures.
Yeah.
They were just underlying lessons, and if you take that same approach to everything, you'll get that result that you're looking for. That was purpose driven.
I love that. I love that. So, okay. So you were accepted. Mm-hmm. What happens next?
So then we're in the fleet, right? They change your job. I originally wanted to go to flight school. They told me the first night of officer candidate school in January the 6th of 2011, you're too old to go to flight school.
Okay.
So ended up not going to flight school, went back into the fleet, and I was inspecting cargo ships as a marine inspector in the port of New Orleans. Did that for about 4 years.
So that carried through until you left the service.
Correct.
Yes. So as the years are kind of creeping up to that time when you've got to make a decision, you're going to leave the service at some point. Mm-hmm. What's that like for you, thinking about what's next? I imagine 13 years in the service is pretty special. Thinking about what's next also has to be a little scary.
It's your identity. It really and truly is. When you put that uniform on every single day, that is your identity. And then when you're leaving that all behind, it's scary. What are you going to do next? But I also knew that everything that I had accomplished in the military would translate into the civilian world. So I was able to pick an industry that aligned with what I had learned within the Coast Guard.
And that industry being?
The fire life safety industry.
So Blue, take me through some of your career trajectory that led you to Zeus.
So I took a little bit of what I learned in the Coast Guard and said, well, if I'm going to get my foot in the door in the fire life safety company, I cannot go straight to the top or even senior management. Mm-hmm. Even though I had the resume, if you will, because like I said, everything in the military translates.
Was fire life safety a continuation of service?
It was, absolutely, because think about the people that you protect, right? With our systems, right? Whether it be your security systems, your fire alarm systems, your sprinkler systems, they all connect together to protect people. That's exactly what I did in the military. It's our commitment to service.
Yeah.
You selflessly serve. You raise your right hand. You volunteer for it. So that's what I did, staying in the fire life safety business.
And you've been in the fire life safety business now for how long?
Since 2014.
So it's about 12 years.
About 12 years.
And you've been with Zeus for about a year?
About a year.
Right. And what was that like, transitioning from your last role over to Zeus Fire and Security?
I had a great opportunity with one of the individuals that I had worked with previously at another organization, also a Marine, right? Also a veteran. And I've been following this veteran for about 10 years, right? And learning from him. So
I think we all know his name.
Yeah, absolutely. Gabe Garcia.
Yeah.
So when he gave me the opportunity to join Zeus and put this in front of me, I said, absolutely, let's do it.
Yeah. And that really is a function of great leadership, right? Somebody that's a great leader like Gabe
100%.
Is going to find great people to work with him.
100%.
Blue, as we talk about service and sacrifice, I want to pause for a moment and acknowledge a symbol that means so much to our veteran community, the POW MIA table that we have prominently featured here at Zeus headquarters.
Absolutely, Scott. Every item on this table tells a story, one of remembrance, hope, respect for those who have never made it home. Every detail on the table carries a deep meaning. Let me explain. The table before us is round, showing that our concern for them is never ending. The tablecloth is white, representing the purity of their service. A single red rose reminds us of their sacrifice and the loved ones who await their return. The red ribbon tied around the rose shows our determination to bring them home. The yellow candle symbolizes hope, a light that will guide them back. The yellow ribbon represents the nation's continuing support and remembrance. The black napkin stands for the sorrow of captivity and the pain of their absence. A slice of lemon and a pinch of salt reminds us of their suffering and the tears of their families. The glass is inverted and the chair remains empty, for they cannot be with us. The Bible represents faith, the strength that sustains us, and the purple heart honors their courage and their sacrifice for our freedom. It is important as we look at this table, we remember those who are still missing, honor those who gave everything, and remain grateful for the freedoms that they provided and protected.
So, Blue, that's beautiful. As someone who served, what does this table mean to you personally?
Personally, the table means remembrance and sacrifice to me. The Coast Guard has rescue swimmers that live by a motto, so others may live. They don't know who they're going to rescue. They don't know their names. They may not ever meet them again. They only know that their one job is to save that individual from danger. And that's exactly what veterans do. They give themselves, they dedicate themselves, and they sacrifice. And they do it willingly every single day, all across America and all across the globe.
And we're all grateful and better off for it. Thanks to you and all those who serve, not only at Zeus Fire and Security, but throughout the United States. Thank you, Blue.
Thanks.
Blue, as you know, we've set up a powerful display, thanks to Gabe Garcia.
That's right.
At Zeus headquarters of uniforms representing every branch of the armed services, including your uniform that sits behind us. When you look at that display of uniforms across all branches of the service, all representing employees at Zeus, what emotions does that elicit, and what does that mean to you? Even when you see your own uniform sitting behind you today.
Camaraderie. You'll hear veterans talk about the person to their left and to their right. That's really and truly what it means to a veteran. Going home with who's on their right and who's on their left. Me, for example, in the Coast Guard, I was deployed to several units that were not my own throughout my career. I had no idea who these individuals were, but I did know we shared a common goal and a common mission. If they needed me, I was there. If I needed them, they were there. And that's what it's really and truly about. It's all about protecting, defending, and serving.
So, Blue, we have 7 uniforms on display at Zeus headquarters, each one an actual uniform worn by a member of our company. And we have nearly 100 veterans across the entire business. What does that say to you that so many veterans like yourself chose this field as a career and so many chose Zeus as a company?
That's huge. And I appreciate you pointing that out, because so many people don't truly understand that impact. And it's easy when you think about it, right? And when you think about how our skills translate into this industry, it's second nature. We can pick up technical skills along the way, but the mindsets, the dedication to defend and serve and protect, that comes second nature, especially after you've served in the military.
Yeah. So look, from my perspective, what I see more than anything is this deep sense of team and this deep sense of, you mentioned the word camaraderie, but this deep desire to make sure that the team wins. And I'm guessing that's just part of that background.
It is. It's also about accountability. Veterans will hold each other accountable. We will call out our blind spots when maybe your other colleagues won't. And that's exactly what we need at different times.
Yeah, which is why I think Zeus is such a terrific business. I don't think there is any coincidence in the fact that we're running a great business and that 10% of our workforce, which is greater than that of most workforces in the United States, are made up of veterans. I don't think there's any coincidence there at all.
Absolutely not.
So, Blue, earlier you presented me with this incredible challenge coin. Can you give me the background, the tradition of what the challenge coins represent, not just today, but maybe in the past?
Sure. There's many stories about how the challenge coin came into existence, going all the way back to World War I, and then there were a couple during the Vietnam era. However, the challenge coin carries a shared meaning that has it has evolved into over the years: unity and excellence. That's why it was an honor for myself to receive the Zeus Challenge Coin when I first started here at Zeus. It's a shared mission of unity and excellence, but it's also, what are we looking at? We're protecting people, property, and profits.
Yeah. So what's the appropriate way in which a challenge coin is actually delivered and then received by someone, whether they served or not? Like, why not give a challenge coin to everybody in the entire business?
For that one word alone, the unity, right? It's about the camaraderie of veterans. It's a belonging to a group. Go back to the story of World War I. A young wealthy officer decided to mint his own coins for his troops. What it did is it let those soldiers know that they were a part of that group, his team.
So, Blue, what's the custom and practice for giving a challenge coin and receiving one? Is it only veteran to veteran? Is it veteran to civilian? How does that work?
It's a great question. I think it's on feel when you think about it, or emotion. This challenge coin is a little different. We're recognizing what we do here at Zeus, but we're also recognizing our service members, right? Now, anyone can have a challenge coin, because going back and tying it back to the message of excellence and unity, anyone can have a challenge coin.
Sure.
But when you talk about this individual challenge coin, when you marry an organization, a fire life safety organization, with what the military does, that's what makes it special. That's a little different.
Yeah, and I think this one feels different because it does just that. It ties in the values and commitment that Zeus has to protecting our communities with how veterans protect the entire country and, frankly, the world.
That's right.
So, Blue, your work today at Zeus focuses primarily on streamlining performance and operational excellence. I'd love to know how your experience in the military helps you with your role today and what that's been like for you.
Operational excellence is about 3 pillars: people, parts, and processes. Okay?
Okay.
Parts without people are just items in a box. Processes are just workflows or diagrams without people. So people are the magic ingredient, right, when you think about it. Everyone comes to work every day wanting to be valued, wanting to provide value, wanting to connect. And that's exactly what it did in the military, right? When you think together and you strive together, you'll absolutely celebrate and win together.
Yeah. So when you walk into one of our hubs and you're there to execute on your mission, right? How does that typically show up to the hubs? Are they ready for it? Are they interested in it? Is it something you have to drive? Like, how are you received?
Quite well, actually. So we build that trust. We go back to what we were talking about, trust, and go back when we were talking about integrity in your actions, how you carry yourself. You walk in with not having all the answers. There could be some teaching involved, right? You're learning them, they're learning you. But remember, it's all about integrity and actions. How are your actions coming across to them? So when you tell them you've been in the trenches as well, they completely understand.
Yeah, that's shared experience again, right?
100%.
So when you leave for the day or after a week at a particular hub, how do you know that you were successful?
That's why I go by my last name, so people won't forget. I want them to feel a sense of unity and welcome to the Zeus family. And I want to give them a lifeline, somebody that they can reach out to. Day or night, they can reach out to us in operations.
So, Blue, what does Veterans Day mean to you? And how do you continue to honor the legacy of veterans?
It means remembrance and sacrifice. Sometimes the ultimate sacrifice. And that's why it's so special. It's not one day out of the year. It's every day. And the best way to honor veterans with us or gone before us is to stay involved. Saying thank you to a veteran is great, but when you really and truly have action and get involved with veteran organizations, it doesn't always have to be monetary donations. It can be your time. That goes a long way, right? There's multiple support groups out there for veterans that you can get involved with, even flag placing ceremonies during days of remembrance. That's huge for veterans. Veterans really appreciate that.
So I love that. I'm going to ask you 2 questions. One, I think a lot of people think about but never ask. And then the other one, a bit more direct on what people can do. So the first one is, you had mentioned, you can thank veterans all you'd like, but but I think back it up with some action. Is it appropriate for civilians to thank veterans on Veterans Day and other days? Is that an appropriate thing to do? How is it typically received by the veteran community?
It is. It 100% is the right thing to do and very well received. Some of us are bashful, but we do appreciate it. Every single one of us appreciates the time that we spent in the service.
So, Blue, if there's one thing that we can do, civilians can do, to do more than just say thank you, right? Is there one particular cause, one particular charity, something that's near and dear to your heart that somebody can do, whether it's from their desk or out in the field? What's the one thing somebody can do?
Stay involved. You get involved somehow, even if it's one time a year. Stay involved with veteran organizations. You know, like I said, the flag placing ceremony is huge, right? Some of us, sacrificed everything we have for that flag. So a flag placing ceremony is a great thing to do. Stay involved with charitable organizations, not just again with donations, but also your time.
Yeah. So as you know, we have a team here at Zeus that spends a lot of time focusing on how we can give back to the community. And if that's not already on the list, it certainly should be, and we'll make sure it is. Thank you for that. So, Blue, final question. What advice or guidance would you give a veteran that's getting ready to transition out of the service in a civilian life, like you did?
Don't sit in silence. We talk about veterans and the humbleness and sometimes not being able to ask for help. That's a difficult thing for almost anyone to grasp, right?
Yeah.
But there's several support services out there for veterans. And I've worked with a lot of veterans that, in their post-service careers. Everything we did in the military translates into the civilian world. There's multiple job opportunities out there. There's so many support services for veterans, federal, state, local, nonprofits. They're out there. Don't be shy or bashful about asking for help.
Yeah, I think those words are really important. And I hope that those that are watching this podcast or listening to it take those to heart. Feels like it's really an important message. Thank you for sharing it. Blue, thanks for being on the podcast. Thanks for presenting me with our new challenge coin. Thank you for the bracelet. It means the world. And really, thank you for sharing your message. Thank you for your service. And thank you for everything you've done and continue to do at Zeus Fire and Security. Thanks, Blue.
Thank you so much for having me.
Blue, thank you for sharing your story and for your continued leadership here at Zeus. And to every veteran across our company and across our nation, thank you. Your courage, your sacrifice, and your unwavering commitment to protecting our freedom are what makes this country great. The symbols you've seen in this episode, the POW MIA table, the uniforms, and the challenge coins remind us that freedom is earned through service and preserved through gratitude. We owe an unpayable debt to those who've worn the uniform and whose families have stood behind them. At Zeus Fire and Security, we are proud to employ veterans who continue to live out those same values of integrity, teamwork, and service. Values that make our nation stronger and our organization better each and every day. On behalf of all of us at Zeus Fire and Security, thank you for your service, your leadership, and most importantly, for the example you set here each and every day. I'm Scott Elkins. Until next time, thanks for listening, and remember, at Zeus Fire and Security, we're better when we're together.